Something feels a bit different here, and I can't seem to put my finger on it. I've got no clue. Anyways, welcome back. We have a new video. It's not on the alpha. There is an alpha video in the works. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of work going into it. You can see it behind me. But forget that. Forget any of that's happening. I have a new $900 purchase. I have bought a $900 full-time, four-wheel drive Capella. It is terrible. It has many problems, and it was purchased off a kid who had no clue what he was doing with it, but it's got good bones. And right now I've got to do a lot of maintenance on it to make sure it doesn't fall apart the next time I drive it. So let's have a look-see. So you guys haven't really seen too much of the Mazdas on the channel so far, but there are obviously a couple on my driveway right now. So catch you up to speed quickly. This one here is my lovely 1999 Mad As Capella. Now this car's bought and built for $1,000 as a bit of a challenge, and since then, well, it survived its weekend, and then we decided to take it to the river one more time, and the water got a little bit too high and the engine got a little bit wet, and she's sitting here now hydrolocked. So my solution, of course, broken all-wheel drive Capella, not so broken but still broken four-wheel drive one. So this is the new purchase, $900 in very, very questionable shape, but you can see right there, full-time four-wheel drive. Classic old Japanese thing, you know. If you're in the winter parts of Japan where there's snow, you might need four-wheel drive to get out. So why not put it on a unassuming looking little sedan, huh? Right, so as with any good car purchase, this lovely little Capella came from Marketplace, and anybody who knows anything knows that Marketplace is the perfect place to buy cars. Safety features that this one has includes no warrant of fitness, no registration, a death rattle when you're turning left, and an oil leak that jettisons any oil you put into the block right back out within seconds. Now, haters might say that's not how a car's supposed to work. Usually cars should be road legal or run 100% of the time. But for $900, you get what you pay for. So this car clearly has a bit of a checkered history, and you can see that as soon as you hop in the interior. On a hot day, you can tell it was owned by one or two smokers. And when you look at the back seat, you can see a little bit of a hint that this car's got a drinking problem. Right, so opening up the back door, we've got one 2050, two 2050, three 2050, one 1030, and another 2050. All of these are empty. Now heading into the boot of our lovely Capella, we find once again, what's this? Another empty 2050 bottle. We find our factory airbox. Now that will come back very soon. And we find some transmission oil. Handy to have when you have three differentials. Lovely reminder of what it's like to live in New Zealand. One moment it's warm and sunny, the next moment it's raining. So, we've moved the new Capella into the garage. And here you can see what powers our lovely little guy. This right here, this boat anchor of a motor, is a Mazda F8. AKA a de-stroked truck motor. This F8 is based off of the FE 2-litre that was used in the old 2-litre Mazda B series, originally available as a single overhead cam, and in some models of the 626 and Capellas available with a dual overhead cam and fuel injection instead of carbies. And as you can see, it attracts the wrong kind of attention because our lovely little previous owner put a potty on it, without fixing the fact that down here it's leaking enough oil to feed a small village. So the main things that this car needs is it needs a new wheel bearing in the front left. It is absolutely shattered, and it needs a new CV axle on the front left. On top of that, our rear right shock is pretty suboptimal and hardly returns, so that one will be replaced. But all of that stuff, being that these are fairly rare, unavailable same day. So for now, we'll start with undoing the things that the previous owner has done, and looking at that intake, I'll give you guys two choices. Has he A, left the exhaust stock, or has he B, given it a bit of bogan and unbolted the muffler? So with that little bit settled, since I'm not 16 and I held no delusions about this being a race car, I think I'm going to bolt that exhaust back on. You can see it, it's just hanging there from the hangers. Couple of spaces on the bolts, a few washers from Repco or Super Cheap, and he's called it a day. For me, I actually kind of like my neighbours, so... Alright, so that is a much more palatable exhaust tone that we've got coming from this thing now. Now, some of you might think, I'm getting old. I've bolted an exhaust back on. I've made my car quieter. This is wrong. This is all wrong. Well. So I might have been stressing quite hard that this was a truck motor, and there was a reason for that. You see, the F8, low compression, 1.8 litre displacement, perfectly suited for one of these bad boys. Now this right here is a factory V8T manifold and an IHI VJ11 clone turbo. I picked these up a long time ago in the year of 2022, originally planning to go onto a 1.8 litre Lantis I had at the time. Unfortunately, stuff didn't happen, and fortunately I bought a V6 one, much better, you'll see that at some point. But what that does mean is I have a turbo and a manifold that fit with light modification onto this little 626. So it's been a wee while since the last update on the car, and a few things have changed. After that last clip, we took the car for a drive and found that the CV axle was causing a few problems, and that was the death shutter to the left. So attempting to fix the CV axle, we replaced the axle and the joint multiple times, and took the car for another drive just to have the throw-out bearing go. So the 626 is currently off the road and in need of a new throw-out bearing and potentially clutch. In the meantime, I've drafted up a build sheet to keep track of all of the costs. So we can see here what I've done with the CV, including the transmission fluid, and also replacing the clutch slave cylinder to see if that was why it wasn't actuating, and the turbo and manifold, which you have already seen. Now there's a few things here hidden in black, which will be seen very soon, but I don't want to show them off just yet, but they are on the build list and they are contributing to this overall cost here. So, unfortunately ending on a bit of a downer note with the 626 not actually running and driving, but there's big things to come, and there's a very big update to actually come on the car next time you'll see it in an episode.